Good morning. So while we are waiting for my coffee, I just want to talk about why there are so many single mothers in the Philippines. And the number one reason that I could think of is that this is a Catholic nation, and talking about premarital sex is discouraged in our country. And I think that's the first factor, the reason why there are so many single mothers, because lack of sex education. So what happens here is teenagers engage in sex without not knowing anything about sex. I believe that this age, or the age that you start liking somebody and start experimenting with kissing and touching, this is discouraged in our country to talk about. I remember when I was in elementary, one of my classmates asked me about sex, and I don't know what sex means. So I went home and asked my mom about what sex means, and she got angry about it because it's a bad word that shouldn't be discussed in our house. So that's the number one factor why there are so many single teenagers in our country. It's because of discouragement of talking about sex in a very young age. Second reason that I could think of why there are so many single parents here in the Philippines is the ignorance of contraceptives, of pills and condoms. People here is not aware that you can actually get contraceptives in their RHUs. And they thought that these things are expensive and hard to access, but really you can get it in your rural health units. They are free for everyone, and sometimes people are ashamed to walk into their RHU because people are gonna gossip about them that they are having intercourse with somebody, especially teenagers. Gossiping here in the Philippines is very common, especially if the topic is about sexual intercourse, adultery. Filipinos love to gossip about those things. So instead of going to their RHUs before having sex, people, especially teenagers, just do sex without any protection at all. The third reason that I can think why there are so many single parents here in the Philippines is abortion is illegal here in the Philippines. That means that if you get pregnant, you have no choice but to give birth of the child, even if the lack of presence of the father. And it is much harder for women to find a suitable partner, especially if she has a child. It is only recently that single mothers are more mature and more responsible when it comes to relationships. So now single mothers are more accepted by few men. Single mothers are now perceived as more experienced when it comes to relationship, more responsible, more know-it-all what they are doing. And also single mothers are not into games because they already have hard time raising their kids alone, so they are looking for potential mate rather than just having fun. So the fourth reason why I think there are so many single mothers here in the Philippines is divorce is very expensive and very ill process to do. So most of the people that get married can't afford it and won't deal with the hustle, so they just go on with their lives even they are still inside of the marriage. So that leaves them as a broken family. They just go on with their lives and have another family even if they are still inside the marriage. So the fifth reason that I think why there are so many single parents here in the Philippines is weak family bond. This means that prioritizing other things rather than prioritizing the family is a big issue here in the Philippines. Most of the Filipino men prioritize, like for example, if you have been with a Filipino man that likes gaming, they rather play games in their computer than deal with the family issues, the family day-to-day problems. If they had a fight with their girlfriend or wife, their escape is sometimes they go out and drink. Instead of working, talking about the problem, they would escape and go out with their friends or play video games. So that's a big problem when Filipino men do that. And here in the Philippines, if the Filipino couple has a problem, most of the time the Filipino family will interfere with the problem, and that makes a big mess because instead of working on the problems, they will put more woods on the fire. So that creates more big mess. And some of the couple here in the Philippines that broke up, it's because of family issues. Like for example, the parents of the guy doesn't like the girl, so they would, if the couples fight, they would interfere and talk bad shit about the girl too. So I think that's also the reason why most of the families here broke up. So I have one thing. So the crazy thing about in the Philippines is that this is a Catholic nation and they would discourage premarital sex, but the age consent to have sex is age 12. It's just recently that President Rodrigo Duterte signed a bill that the age consent from 12, they changed it to 16 years old. So a 16 years old can't have sex even if he or she is ignorant about sex, because we don't have sex education here, at least in my time, which is crazy. Why is the age consent to having sex is so low without giving the proper sex education? So that's how messed up Philippine law is. So I think I had 6 reasons why there are so many single mothers in the Philippines. So that's it. That's my pondering this morning. And if you have any opinions about why there are so many single parents here in the Philippines, just comment down below. I read all your comments, each one of them, and I really like reading comments. It's something that I do every day, and I appreciate you all. And we will discuss another topic next time soon. Bye.